Hey guys, how's it going? So today we're going to do the regulator bypass, the easy method on, for Tiberius first strike type regulator. So this is a regulator out of my FSC. First thing you do, well actually the best thing to do actually is take your 3/16 Allen wrench and loosen your velocity off. You can actually remove, well, you don't have to remove it, but I'm going to remove it just to give you a short demonstration here. So that's your adjuster screw. Come on. Get my spring out of here. There's your velocity spring. And this guy is your PRV, oops. Your RV pad, sorry. It can be a little tricky to get out sometimes. Usually just take, that's a 5/64 Allen wrench and just stick it in there and kind of pull up a little bit on the side as you got it in the tip. Okay, so there's your RV pad. And I have the PRV delete in this. So next thing, this is the part this is sort of the bypass here. This brass slot that's on the other end of your adjuster, I use a penny. Just unscrew it. There's a cat coming here, pardon me. Okay, so there's the cap. Just set it aside. Inside here, there's going to be a spring, a ball. Oh, I'll have to get that O-ring in a second, but so it kind of looks like this, and there's an O-ring that sits in there, and then that sits in the end. So how that works is your RV pad, this is your velocity spring, you set your velocity, and based on the amount of spring tension, it's always pushing this valve open. So when the marker is degassed, it's ready to go, and as soon as you gas it, the amount of force it takes to push back on the spring pushes back and actually closes this ball valve, or whatever you want to call it here. Closes this ball bearing against the O-ring that I've left inside here, and that's what sets your shot velocity per shot. But if you're going for max, you don't even need that. So this is the stuff you get rid of. This block, the spacer, that ball, don't need that. Just set it aside. And you got to get the little O-ring out of here. Sometimes it just falls out. All right. There's a little O-ring in there. Set it aside. Take the cap. Thread it back on. Make sure not to cross thread, it's brass. And because there is no guts on the inside of this, actually I should show you here. Since there's no guts on the inside of this, there's a little black O-ring there that normally when it seats up against all the junk that's inside there, it stops when it's about flush. You can actually go past flush now that there's nothing inside there. I haven't found any need to go further. I've tested sending it all the way home and just setting it flush like it normally was with all the internals still intact. So I just set it flush. Just like that. So, good. Now, I say the easy way, beat it kitty. Because what I actually want to do is find a plug just to plug this off completely and do away with this RV pad. Because this O-ring is always going to be, at some point, will be a failure point. And without all that stuff inside there, there's no failure points. Well, I'm eliminating some failure points. So, as it stands, The way this is just plop your RV pad back in there, push it down, put your spring back in, your velocity spring, and your velocity screw now, your adjuster, it will not do anything. So cranking this thing down is not going to turn the velocity up. You are at maximum velocity 100% of the time based on output pressure. So what I've been doing is, obviously you don't want this to back out, so I just tighten it down till it goes snug and then just whatever, give it a couple turns. That way you know it's not going to back itself out. And that's it. I've been running it like this for 2 weeks on 1025 HPA. I will say I have not, eat it kitty. I will get out of here. I will say I haven't tested on CO2, so I actually don't know how it'll perform. Question remains too is a known problem with FSC running an 88 gram was the regulator gets all buggered up. There's too much liquid getting in here, and the reason is there's no place for it to expand. Now, it doesn't really have a problem. This regulator is designed for CO2. There's no fragile seals in here or anything like that. But I'm wondering, when I actually find a plug for this size, or I had drill this and plug it with another set screw, if that just doesn't open up this whole chamber to act as an expansion chamber for a larger 88 gram CO2. But until I find this plug, it's either it's some funky metric or funky imperial. I've got my thread gauge out, I've got it marked as a 0.8. Or it could also be a 32 thread pitch. I've got to experiment with some stuff I got on order that I'm still waiting for. But when I do find the correct plug, I will update this video. Good luck!